Hello, I'm Marty Morrison from Fireplaces and Fixins, here doing our 6th or 7th geothermal show. And in fact, we submitted one of our most recent geothermal shows to Aurora, which is a national agency that rates and judges shows of this type, and we won the national award over about 24,000 entries. So we're very proud of that. And they said they gave us the award because of the information that this video tries to give consumers. Now specifically, geothermal heat pumps are units that take the Earth's stored solar energy out of the Earth, and we transfer that into the house for winter heating, and we take the energy or the heat out of the house and transfer it into the Earth for summer cooling. So a geothermal heat pump is both a heating and cooling device that heats and cools for about 4 to 6 times less than any other fuel. Now, one of the most exciting things that's recently happened is that just this past February, Congress passed a 30% tax credit on the installation of a geothermal heat pump. Now, that's been in force for several years, but the cap was $2,000. What's recently happened is that the cap has been removed. So now we have a 30% tax credit with no cap. Not only are the tax incentives or the tax credit so important for the installation of geothermal heat pumps and being desirable to the consumer, it's also very desirable from a resale point of view for the house. Anybody that's looking at a new house is very conscious about what it costs to live there. Geothermal brings the living costs in a house down to, depending on the square footage, between $40 and $60 a month. And you know, where some houses that heat with propane or fuel oil or straight electricity, that is $150 to $200 a month. And so you can then afford to buy a lot more house and have the same monthly payment. But in any case, what geothermal does is it adds to the value of the house while allowing the consumer to live there more cheaply than with any other fuel. In this very unique installation of a geothermal heat pump, we've applied it in the country where the customer could only choose from propane or fuel oil or electric resistance. If you live in the city where you have a relatively small lot and you have access to natural gas, due to the fact that natural gas, also produced from local sources, is a relatively cheap way to go, especially in a modest-sized house, a geothermal is not as practical in town applications where we don't have room to drill the wells, and honestly, we don't have a big enough fuel bill to save as much money with geothermal as we do in a little bit larger home out in the country. Now, I've had some people say, well, you can get almost the same efficiency or the same operating costs out of a high-efficiency gas furnace with an air conditioner or an air source heat pump with an air conditioner. Well, the truth is, no, you can't, which is why Congress has given such a hugely generous and incentive-motivated program for geothermal versus the other fuels, is because it uses locally generated electricity. We're not relying on foreign oil sources to provide our energy. It's out of coal-produced electricity, so that fuels local jobs and the local economy, and it keeps our energy within our shores, which is something that should be done. Every one of our new geothermal shows, I try to show an installation that we've never done before, and this is an extremely unique one in this house under construction near Bridgeport. So if you hear construction sounds, it's good background noise because the house is being built. This is a unique system in that this is a geothermal water-to-water unit right here. We make hot water for winter heating and cold water for summer cooling. And we have the water come in from the outdoor vertical well field through these pipes into the flow center. The flow center is what circulates water from the outdoor loop fields into the geothermal system here. Inside the geothermal system is where we have the water to refrigerant heat exchanger. In the winter, we take heat out of that groundwater, and then we amplify that heat and push about 110-degree water over to this storage tank right here. And we do the heating through the in-floor in the wintertime. And in the summer, this makes cold water. And we'll take cold water and we'll store it in this tank, and then the cold water is routed through this air handler. In these two pipes down here, we have cold water running at about 45 degrees through this coil. We run house air through that 45-degree water, and it's about the same temperature as a conventional air conditioning, where we'll have 4 to 5 tons of cooling capacity, as well as, of course, do an excellent job of dehumidification. The rules of heating and cooling do not change. The more your house keeps by virtue of tight construction, good windows, replacing windows, adding insulation to attics, and stopping air infiltration in your house is going to net you a lot of fuel savings. I can make heat all day long, but the more you keep, the less you have to buy. It's related to the fact that the house needs tightened up. I'm standing in a ditch leading out to the header pit here at a home in Moundsville where we're doing a 3-ton geothermal system. This is an example of a horizontal system. There's 2 different ways, of course, that we can do geothermal, either with the vertical wells or the horizontal. This is horizontal because we have several acres. In fact, could put many tons of geothermal in this particular site. The ditches are dug 10 feet apart, 3 feet wide, and 5 feet deep. And then the coils are laid out in what's called an extended slinky. So there's 600 lineal feet of pipe in every ditch, and that's equivalent to 1 ton of geothermal heat pump capacity. In this particular case, this is a 3-ton system. There'll be 3 ditches. Now, in terms of square footage, it takes approximately 1/3 of a football field, maybe a half an acre, to do a geothermal loop field. So if you have an average 2,000 square foot house, 3-bedroom ranch, not a large house, where you have about a 3-ton air conditioner or heat pump, and we would retrofit geothermal to that house, if we're able to do the ditches, it is only about a $12,000 to $14,000 investment. Now, commonly, people aren't going to do ditches and tear up their nice looking yard, and so we'll drill vertical wells. And then I can have vertical wells done in an area as small as your bathroom. And right adjacent to the house, that can be drilled and installed and recovered very easily with hand tools. Now that's going to cost about $14,000 to $16,000. Almost every geothermal customer I talk to asks me the question, what's better, vertical wells or horizontal ditches? And the truth is, on either system, it produces the same returning water temperatures into the geothermal heat pump in the winter and summer, and so the cost of operation is about the same. Now, we can increase the ditches or increase the vertical wells, which increases the operating efficiency of the system, but either system works very well. It's just that the vertical wells take up a lot less space. We tear up a lot less yard than the horizontal ditches do. Now, it really doesn't matter, because a year later, once the earth is all settled and it's seeded and it returns to normal, you don't know that it's even there. I could show you any job that we've done the past years, and you'll see that the grass is completely grown in, and you have no idea that geothermal is even underneath. And everything is 5 feet deep, so we've got garages and swimming pools and gardens and outbuildings and all sorts of things over top of geothermal fields. So your entire yard isn't used or needed for geothermal unless you're going to sink a deep foundation. In addition to the 30% tax credit on the installation of a geothermal heat pump, we also have 30% tax credit on the installation of a high-efficiency wood stove, up to $1,500 cap. So this might be the year to take that old black door, ugly, dusty, dirty, bad to operate wood stove out and replace it with a new high-efficiency wood stove from Fireplaces and Fixins, and take advantage of that 30% tax credit. From wood stoves to gas stoves, supplemental, central heating, and of course geothermal heat pumps. Whatever it is that you need, whatever heating project that you have, be it a whole house system or just a part of your house, we have a stove, a fireplace, a heater, a furnace, whatever it might be to fix you up. We appreciate the opportunity to meet you. You can give us a call at 635-3766 or 1-800-435 3766 or stop in and see us. You can also visit us on the web at www.firefix.com. Thanks a lot for joining us.